Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Kusog7ande, the Bad Video Game Tournament. And what is this? We're over to a loser's bracket round, specifically round 3, Debatably Bad. This is a round where the players are given a game that may or may not be bad. It really is a little bit subjective. So let's go ahead. Crappy, take us on over. Let's take a look. Take us past Sparkman. That was a really special, but I think very appropriate. Oh, hello there, Seth Highwind. I was going to reveal you, but you can reveal yourself.
Oh.
It's okay, you're there.
Oh.
Hey, guess who our GM is? It's this fella. Hello there, Seth. How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good.
Oh, man.
It's one of those days.
It honestly, with a bit of a migraine, so yeah, it has been one of those days.
Oh, not again. I mean, yeah, that's migraines for you. Well, that's okay. I'm here to blab a whole bunch, so I can fill in spaces if you ever need to, like, close your eyes and sit back or turn the audio down. You don't have to listen to my voice, you know. I'll be here making sure that we all stay entertained. But you chose an interesting game that I actually don't think I've ever played.
Yeah, no, so for the debatably, give me a quick second.
It's all good. For the debatably bad round.
Yes, for the debatably bad round, I thought to kind of go back to, like, going back to Blockbuster and, like, renting games, and definitely renting things based off of my favorite cartoons at the time, and I thought it'd be a good thing to bring in Tiny Toon Adventures 2, Trouble in Wackyland, as the game for today.
You know what? I'm actually watching them go through the level select, and I think that I might have actually played this. I might know this game. Oh my gosh.
I think it's a fun-ish title. It's debatably bad, personally, for me, because I can see how people enjoy this, but I can also see why this just really isn't good, like, especially when you compare it to, like, the first Tiny Toons game on the NES, or even the games on the Super Nintendo and Genesis.
Yeah.
It's definitely, yeah.
Oh,
at times.
I think that I agree, but I'm gonna have to see what my memory, like, brings back to me, because I really have a hard time remembering. Okay, and I need to make sure that I have everything set up, blah-de-blah-de-blah, so give me 1 second. The players are going to have 1 full hour to try to make as much progress as they can through this game, and whoever does takes the victory. And the loser is out of Kusog7ande. They are donezo. Yeah, we kicked their bunzo out of here. I don't know.
I was not expecting Mist music to pop up on. Okay, cool. That's a nice.
I don't know, Mist. This is very appropriate for Tiny Toon Adventures. Out of anything, you know.
Super appropriate.
Ooh, scary.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited for some fun. I honestly, I was really happy about, like, doing some brainstorming about some rounds, and I was like, you know, there are games that people always argue on Kusog7ande. They're like, why is that here? This is a good game. And I'm like, let's actually have some games that may or may not be good, that, like, are definitely going to stir up some arguments. You know, thinking back, one of the earliest games that we had that did that was, like, Holy Diver for NES, which is really, really difficult, but a lot of people say this is a good game. But I think that it's very debatable, and we'll have to see how much debate we have over Tiny Toon Adventures 2.
There is a chance I think some people can easily walk away enjoying this. And we'll discuss more about it as they're going through the stages. Because with how the game is set up, you have to basically clear the 4 main stages before you're able to go into the final one. But there's also, like, different ways to cheese it, so you don't really have to touch any of the stages except for, like, one over and over and over again.
Gotcha. Did you tell them a level order for them to go into, or?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. Now, for those who are wondering, you know, this is the end of Kusog7ande today, but we do have 2 matches tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, we have a gauntlet in the winner's bracket and another debatably bad game in the loser's bracket. So we've got plenty of excitement for all y'all. I hope to see you here. With that said, let me go ahead. Everybody, be aware, and please, mods, if you are able to put in the title that there is a flashing warning for this game, there will be some flashing, okay? This is, I'm gonna go ahead and say, objectively, watch out for flashing.
Thankfully, it's just going to be for the first stage. Once the first stage is done and over with, the flashing is kept down to a very minimal, but yeah.
Okay, and I'm giving that as a reminder to the players as well, because I want them to know and to not be too surprised once that's over.
Yeah, I wanted to ensure that both players were good before I solidified the choice for them. Despite, like, even though everyone said they haven't played it, I was like, all right, cool. I just want to make sure this is going to be okay, because I had, like, 3 other backup games ready to go just in case.
Yep. That's how we do it. That's how we roll here. You know, the games are bad, maybe debatably bad, but we don't have to make people suffer completely. You know, we're here to help along and make sure that this tournament is accessible for everybody. And simply put, there are some people who just absolutely cannot control reactions to bright lights, and I do not want to exclude those people. Okay, we're ready. So what would be good emotes for chat to spam, Seth? Animals?
Animals, if anyone has any, like, anvils or hammers or anything Toonish, really.
Anything Toonish. Not Tunic. Well, I mean, Tunic is kind of Toonish.
So the rabbit emotes are on point, yeah.
Yeah, rabbits are especially good. As soon as I see movement in our first stage, I will start our timer. Bring those animal emotes, everybody. I love to see them. Okay, this is bringing back some locked memories. Interesting. I do. This looks very familiar. Also, let me tell you, the audio balancing in this game, I already have some issues with this. Like, trying to make it so that I don't destroy people's ears, but let them actually still hear the music. That's going to be my main challenge for today.
Yeah, and, like, this game, much like the first one that Konami did, has some really solid music tracks to it. Like, they did a lot of really faithful, like, translating of some classic Tiny Toons music into this, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ultimate goal of this is Montana Max is causing trouble in Wackyland, the theme park that's really only mentioned in the amazing made-for-TV movie How I Spent My Summer Vacation.
I watched that so many times as a kid.
It's lost media now because they never really put it on like VHS or DVD. Like the only like VHS tapes I know of were anyone who like recorded the special, which is a crying shame because it's probably the strongest bit of like Tiny Toons media that they created.
We have it on a VHS tape somewhere. Like we recorded it. Like we've got it somewhere. Bad Road apparently has a VHS of it as well. Yeah, it's somewhere. I would say that if you do have a recording of it, and you are willing to share it with the world, I would be happy to help document it because that is a very important and formative part of my childhood. Let me tell you, we were the annoying kids who would listen to the end song of that movie over and over and over again, and I bet our parents went nuts because of it, but we like memorized every single word so that we could sing it. Do I remember it now? No, not at all. But I do remember the joke about polygamy. That was fun because there was one point in the movie that Buster, like there's this alligator who's like, "You're gonna marry all my daughters," and Buster says, "That's big of me," and the guy said, "No, that's big of me." Oh. It's not even a good joke.
Oh my god. I think my favorite part of the movie is just the entire Plucky and Hampton section where Plucky just cons his way into Hampton's family trip to Wackyland.
Happy World Land.
Happy World Land.
Happy World Land, Happy World Land, where the fun doesn't stop at only $80 a pop in beautiful Happy World Land.
And it's just, just like this family like vacation from heck, and it's just, oh my god, the ending payoff is beautiful.
It's
just
good.
so beautiful.
Yeah. Welcome to the land where the fun never stops. We've got 6 real rides and 400 gift shops. The cheeks are always rosy, the skies are always blue. This is Happy World Land where all your dreams come true. Yeah. They had the Stairway to Heaven and the Shovel Train to Heck. Or the Bullet Train to Heck. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The memories.
Oh, man. So yeah, they need to basically, the way I've got it set up, the way how the game works, you start off with 10 normal tickets, and each attraction costs a certain number of tickets. When you fully beat an attraction, you get a golden ticket. You get 4 golden tickets, you gain access to the final stage of the game, which is the castle. So I'm having them
This is so chaotic, the bumpers. I love it.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. So I've got them doing bumper cars, train, log flume, then the roller coaster, before they can access the castle. You can also like trade your normal tickets into golden tickets at the turnstile. But there is an easy way to cheese it by just picking a stage you're really good at, or you can get the most points in, which happens to be bumper car.
Yeah.
And you can just farm golden tickets like that. So I've instructed the players, they're not allowed to trade in their tickets for golden tickets until they've completed the 4 main stages.
That is definitely a good idea. I don't like Hampton's like pelvic thrust attack. It's very weird. It's certainly a choice that Konami made. Was this Konami?
Yes, this was Konami.
Aha, so they made 2 of these. That's really cool. Good for them. Like, Konami is one of the few companies that I would trust, like, making a game for a cartoon. Like, seriously, they did really, really decent jobs with it. And, like, I can already see, like, some of the issues, considering that the first stage, like, it's extremely chaotic, very much pinball, bounce around all over the place. The second stage seems a little bit more straightforward. It's given me really big Noah's Ark, again by Konami vibes, just because of the auto-scroller nature of it, as well as some of the animations just feel very similar.
Yeah, so like the way it's broken down is actually the next 3 stages are all auto-scrollers. But they're all auto-scrollers with different physics and mechanics to them.
Pika Pals! Pika Pals! No! Whee! Pelvic thrust into the pit! Oh, this music is so good.
Yeah, the music's a bop. It is just a flat-out bop.
But the fact that we're gonna have 3 auto-scrollers, okay, I've got some complaints. I'm gonna go ahead and say that already puts it down there. Like, honestly, I don't think auto-scrollers are the worst thing in the world. I don't complain about them as much as, like, people in speedrunning do. They're like, it's an auto-scroller, let's go ahead and just be bored for 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever, that's part of the game. You die, guess what? You lose all that time. Yeah, and if you hate that, then get good.
I've actually never really mind auto-scrollers when it comes to speedrunning, just because the fact you said, if you make a mistake and die, like, that's a lot of wasted time. So even if auto-scrollers can be boring, there's still, like, a certain bit of, like, rhythm and memorization you kind of need to, put yourself to.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of skill. Like, Silver Surfer is technically an auto-scroller the entire time. Does anybody have a perfect run of that? I don't know. It's so hard. Like, every perfect run is... not only that, but, like, considering that there are boss fights in the game, there's actually a little bit of time that you can save or lose, depending on how you do on those sections. Like, there's... and then just having a perfect run is so incredibly difficult in that game. Like, yeah, because of that, like, I don't really buy the complaints that a lot of people have with auto-scrollers. And there's a lot to talk about with this auto-scroller. Like, we've got these stop signs going up and down. They don't look like stop signs, but they're signs that say stop. And those can end up throwing you off, especially if you end up getting trapped behind one. You've got the whole train disappearing section here. We've got punching gloves that they gotta deal with. What?
Just go with it. I mean, come on. Haven't you been to an amusement park where there's like random, boxing gloves trying to squish you as you're on the rides?
Honestly, the things that I've heard
Staple
about,
of American tradition.
like in Utah, we have this amusement park called Lagoon, and some of the stories that I heard about Lagoon back, like, I think it was in the 70s and 80s, like, they told us about, like, broken bones and cuts and stuff from the fun house. Apparently, it was a really dangerous fun house, and people loved it, but that there were a lot of injuries because of it. Yeah. Oh, Escorian got deathed. Absolutely murdered. It happens to the best of us. Now it's time for the full auto-scroller again. Haha!
Got laid out by Arnold Schwarzenegger character.
But yeah, Lagoon in Utah definitely had, like, a fun house. I'm not sure exactly what was in the fun house that caused a lot of problems, whether it was, like, metal slides or... people talk about these spinning things that you'd, like, stand on and they'd send you flying all over the place, and supposedly there were squishy things to land on, but, if it's full of a bunch of kids, you might land on other kids. It's just how life works, It's chaos. Anyways, I'm sad that I never got to experience the Murder Fun House, but it's probably for the best.
I've never really dealt with like any like sketchy amusement parks outside of like like the roadside carnivals that always like pop up every now and then, where as a kid you like beg your parents, oh, let's go stop by that looks like fun.
I wouldn't beg my parents. I'd be like, are you sure?
You sure?
I was the kind of kid who was probably more worried about like dying from an amusement park than my parents were. Like, I gotta be real, okay? Not a big fan of dying. Wee! No, I don't think I ever went on any carnival rides until I was in my 20s. And then I went to, like, one carnival, and it was fine. I went on the Ferris wheel, and I went on, whatever the thing that they spin you in, and then you stick to the walls, and it's like, wow, we're spinning really fast, and I'm on the walls now. That's pretty cool. And I think that's all I went on, and then had funnel cake. That's really the reason why you go to a carnival. You get the funnel cake.
Never ever do those rides. Like my motion sickness would always trigger, and it would just be a very, very horrendous time for me for like the rest of the day.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know how well I would handle them now, but then again, I'm kind of fat, and I wouldn't, like, I'm worried about my own safety going on stuff like that, but at the same time, like, I don't vomit from amusement park rides. But now that I'm, like, 37, maybe I would. I don't know. No, I was immune to, like, being sick from spinning. The thing that got me the most... This is a college story, okay? You ready for a college story? I had a roommate who had something that he called dripping yellow madness. This is the same roommate who used to draw, like, get a bloody nose and then use the blood to draw art. He was a weirdo, okay? Love the guy, super weird. But yeah, he found this, like, this loop of latex that's just like this giant ring of latex, not in cloth shape or anything. It was just a hoop, and he bought it online, and sort of it was supposed to be used as a toy of sorts, where like if you stretch out with 2 people on the end, sort of like a rubber band, and then have 2 other people stretch it out sort of to form a square shape, have 2 people at some of the corners run away from each other, and it slingshots both of the other people at each other, and if you time it just right, you can go past each other, run directly into the latex, and then slingshot the other 2 people back at each other, and just like, you really have to try to not get a concussion, but if you can avoid whacking your head against the other people, it's a heck of a lot of fun. So anyways, the other thing, so that was the intended purpose, the concussion machine. But this piece of latex as well, what he would do was drape it over a tree branch, and because of the way that it stretches, you could end up sort of like getting into part of the loop, and you'd almost look like a cocoon of sorts, like a butterfly hanging off of the tree, and I guess it sort of looked like a drip, hence the reason he named it Dripping Yellow Madness. If you've ever named a piece of latex, like, it really mattered to you a lot. Anyways, and then what they would do in this weird latex cocoon as you're hanging from the tree, they would twist it and twist it. And I mean like a solid 3 or 4 minutes of twisting this latex, okay? And then they would let you go. And I have never spun faster in my life than hanging in this latex cocoon from a tree, and let me tell you, it is a surreal experience to go that fast. But yeah, oh my gosh. I didn't vomit, but I probably should have. I feel like that's the natural reaction to spinning that fast. Or I should have died, like, honestly. It's intense, Seth Highwood. It is intense. It is nothing like anything that, like, humans are supposed to experience in this world.
I was about to say, like, holy heck, like, my friends and I just, like, took turns, like, setting up, like, a slip and slide in the backyard to, like, a kiddie pool, and would do, like, stunt competitions to see who could do, like, the most stupidest actions to go from the slip and slide into the kiddie pool.
That sounds dangerous. No, we would just spin until we almost passed out. Dripping Yellow Madness, yeah.
I don't know what. There's like a part that's just like, you know what? As a kid, I probably would have done the exact same thing.
But this was college. I was like a senior in college. Come on. I mean, I think we did go to like a kid's park or something in order to do it. You know, they have like, I wouldn't necessarily trust any tree branch, but like there are metal poles at kids' playgrounds that you can hang latex off of. Yeah, everybody, welcome to, this is just another one of my stories from Utah. I've got a few of them. Good times. Good times.
Utah Action Park. That sounds about right.
Oh, well, there we go. Scoring is through. Somebody said, yay, Porky. That's actually Hampton. How do I know? I don't remember. I don't know. I guess I saw Tiny Toons quite a few times. I actually didn't like Tiny Toons much as a kid. I loved the movie, but I didn't really like the cartoon.
I absolutely adored the cartoon. Like, between like this and Animaniacs were like some of my favorite bits of like television.
Nah, I didn't love it. Like, maybe I would appreciate it more now, but... And there were a few episodes that I love. I actually know somebody who, they wrote an episode for Tiny Toons and submitted it to the director. How they submitted it, I don't know, but they somehow managed to get their script over to the director, and they were like, okay, we're doing this. And they wrote a script that ended up being a Tiny Toons Adventure episode, and it was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta go and, like, find that sometime, but, like, can you just imagine being a kid and doing that, and, like, they're just excited enough that you went and did this fan script that they're like, we're making it, we're making your show, we're making your episode. I love it. With that said, Elmira, I think, was my favorite character in in Tiny Toon. She was great. I love the parody song of Elvira called Elmira. That was good. I hate Hampton, but I don't like pigs.
I was about to say, like, Babs was always one of my favorite characters,
She's
along
good.
with
Yeah.
any episode that, like, involved Furball. Like, I absolutely loved Furball.
Who's Furball?
The cat that Ascorian is currently playing as.
That makes sense. I think I liked Furball. I did like Babs. Buster's kind of a poser, I gotta be honest. Oh, you're right. This kind of is an auto-scroller of sorts. Not quite, but kind of. But, duck. Duck. I like duck. Plucky?
Yeah, Plucky. Plucky
Yeah,
was
there we go. Yeah.
the toxic adventure.
Yeah. He's great, but he was also a little bit, like, closer to Daffy Duck in, like, spirit, I feel, than a lot of the other characters were to their full-grown counterparts. Who else? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up some of the characters.
Well, I mean, because, you know, besides, Elvira, there was also, like, Montana Max, who was the other only human child in the show.
Oh,
which was
Monty,
basically
yeah.
just, like a villain Richie Rich character.
Yeah, by the way, I learned that, like, Monty Python was partially, like, Monty Python, the name Monty, partially came from a World War II field general, but also they're like, we think it would be funny to have, like, an acting agent named Monty. What a stupid name. It's a good, like, it's a good stupid name. I like it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I see someone else mentioned Calamity Coyote was another one, which was the Wile E. Coyote homage. The same with, I think the Roadrunner was just called Beep Beep.
Beep Beep. I actually don't remember them. I believe they existed. I don't care. I gotta be honest.
Oh, that's it.
Little Beeper. Okay.
Little Beeper was it?
Yeah, I don't
There's
care.
also like
We don't
the
need
clairvoyant Shirley the Loom.
That sounds really familiar. What? What? Okay. I need to look this up. Characters, Tiny Toons. Tiny Toon. I'm just absolutely, like, ragging on, like, characters that people know and love. I'm sorry, this is my life. I have a lot of opinions, and you're going to hear about them. Tiny Toon characters. Okay, Elmira, again, the best. Babs, pretty dang good. Buster, again, a poser. Fifi LaFume, I don't care. We don't need you. Plucky Duck, you're pretty awesome. Montana Max, good villain. Good. Okay, Hampton J. Pig, I'll allow you. Dizzy Devil, whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of tired of you. Oh my gosh. Let me find more. Hampton, Shirley. Yeah, Shirley MacLaine is definitely a playoff of Shirley MacLaine. Or Shirley the Loon. I kind of liked her now that I actually look at her. She was the duck with yellow hair. Oh my gosh, is Ascorian through level 3?
Yep.
Very nice. Now it's on to the 4th level. Ascorian definitely has a lead. Pika Pals is making a pretty good push, though. Honestly, both of these players are extremely good, and I would not be surprised if Pika Pals managed to pass Ascorian at some point. But Ascorian is also just notably fantastic. Both of them are notoriously fantastic. It's just amazing. Uh-oh. People are saying now the hard part. Oh, yeah! It's not quite an auto-scroller, but it might as well be. Whee! I mean,
Yeah, this
all
is
amusement park
the-
rides are basically auto-scrollers. You got, like, to be honest.
Yeah, so this is probably the hardest stage in the game, just with it being a fast roller coaster where not only do you need to be kind of mindful of your surroundings, but you also have to constantly flip the track in order to avoid the obstacles being thrown your way. It's very reminiscent to the roller coaster section from the Spider-Man game I gave out.
Oh, no!
Actually.
By the way, I always hear Shirley MacLaine, but I never actually remember what she did in acting. I know that she was
don't
huge.
remember myself
Okay.
either.
In terms of Endearment, The Apartment, The Trouble with Harry, Steel Magnolias. Okay, great. All of the
Okay.
old people movies that I never watched. Great. Apparently, in the new Little Mermaid, she was the grandmother. Okay. She was in 2 episodes of Glee. That's cool. Downtown Abbey. Can you imagine? If I start saying Downtown Abbey, some people are going to be very angry. Oh, she was in Anne of Green Gables, A New Beginning. I'm sure that was thrilling. Spoilers, it's not. Anne of Green Gables sucks, okay? Literally the most boring story. I was in the musical Anne of Green Gables. It had the worst lyrics. Okay, Seth, listen to the lyrics of this song, okay?
I'm morbidly curious, but yeah, hit me.
I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to say the words here. That way I don't get copyrighted or whatever. Yeah, like anybody would do that. Anyways, Anne of Green Gables, with your carrot-colored hair, your freckled-covered nose, and your fiery eyes of green.
Well, Lemieux?
Anne of Green Gables, you might act like you don't care, but I'm the one who knows that your act is just a dream. I don't remember. It's stupid. I don't care. I don't even remember what the musical was about, except that it had a stupid song about Anne of Green Gables, and those were some of the lyrics.
That's a song, all right.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that when Babs dies, it looks like she's having a heart attack.
Happens to the best of us. Okay, I'm scrolling down. I'm getting to the 70s and the 60s to see what else she was in. Yeah, she's like old school Hollywood here. 50s, she started acting in the 50s. So there we go. Shirley the Loon, based off of Shirley MacLaine. Definitely a pun off of that. Also, Fifi LaFume, I don't care about you. Elmira Duff, you are the best. Montana Max, you're okay. Go-Go Dodo. I remember Go-Go Dodo kind of being okay. Furball, again, the character that Pete Capal's is playing with. I don't think Furball was quite as much of a main character as some of the others there, but still, like, putting him in, like, a game like this really shows that he was a loved character.
Yeah, he was also one of the main characters you could play as in the original NES game, because of how that game worked. You would predominantly play as Buster Bunny, but before each stage, you could pick your partner character between Plucky, Furball, and I think Hampton was the third one.
That would
but
make
throughout
sense,
the stages, you would find a bouncing red ball that would basically let you switch to the other character. So, like, Plucky had, like, limited hovering. Thank you, Dizzy. Dizzy was the third character. So Plucky had, like, limited hovering ability. Furball could, like, actually wall climb, which was really fun. I don't remember what Dizzy Devil did. I think it was mostly just a stronger, the Dizzy Spin attack. So there's, like, an optimal way to play each stage with, like, the optimal partner, but I know when, as a kid, I just picked Furball all the time because climbing walls 9 times out of 10 helped me out of a lot of really stupid pit situations.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, here's the deal. I'm looking at Calamity Coyote, and he's about, like, 100 times cuter than I remember.
Calamity is...
I still don't think I like him.
I love Calamity.
I still don't think I like him, but still, growing on me just looking at the pictures here. Let me see if I can share this, everybody. I'm sorry, we're busy talking about... We've got auto-scrollers on the screen. Guess what? Y'all can see who's winning. Maybe,
Yeah,
I
and
don't... There, this
and,
nerd
Tiny
right here.
Toons Acme All-Stars on the Genesis. Calamity, like every character had their own special move. Calamity's special move in Acme All-Stars basically summoned a bipedal Metal Gear mech for him to ride on in either the soccer or the basketball arena.
Yeah. Oh, Liz Star, by the way, in chat. Liz Star has actually, I know that she ran a show with Gauntlet States for a while, and apparently this was a state that she gave, and is like, this was the cruelest state. So, I kind of love it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that I hate the idea of Calamity Coyote in principle, but he's actually, like, kind of cute. I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. What about Little Beeper? Are you cute at all, or are you freaking... well, you're kind of cute. Dang it! Why? Why? This should not be okay. Like, look at this, okay? Here's Calamity Coyote again, everybody. Right? And then we've got freaking Little Beeper. Like, what is this? How do you do this? You just took Looney Tunes and you actually got decent designs to make them cute? What the crap? I know, I'm complaining about, like, characters being too cute. Yeah, whatever.
They're cute, but it's just... man, they didn't get that much airtime, unfortunately, even though they were basically the Roadrunner and Coyote,
Well,
juniors.
Yeah, but I think they also talked, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think... No, I believe, unlike the others, they were silent protagonists to fit the mood, if I remember correctly.
Really? Okay. Because, like, they were definitely willing to change things up for Tiny Toons. If I'm not mistaken, it was Steven Spielberg, right, who did Tiny Toons, and they definitely changed things up from the Looney Tunes cartoons in order to make something different. And because of that...
I think there actually was an episode where Wile E. Coyote was trying to teach Calamity how to more or less catch his Roadrunner. And I think that was like one of the rarest where they actually had Wile E. Coyote talking, and it was just Wile E. trying to work with a kid who can only like pantomime their actions and stuff.
That's great. I do know Wile E. Coyote had 1 or 2 episodes where he talked, and it was very disconcerting. I don't like them.
I think he only mainly... I know the one he talked was the Bugs Bunny episode. I think that's where he got his first appearance, actually, before the Roadrunner and Coyote spinoff.
Well, no wonder it feels so weird. Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote, super genius.
I hate that episode. Oh my gosh. Here's the deal. Like, I think Pika Pals and Escorian are both learning that this game is brutally unfair. Like, this level is very, very cool. There's no reaction time. I would be thinking of ways, how can I actually give myself a little bit more reaction time? Are pause strats viable in this at all?
I know I've experimented around with them. They can work in some areas, but with how fast the coaster launches you at things, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's pure route memorization for a good chunk of this track.
Yeah, this is evil. Holy crap. I love the chats, like, talking Wile E. Coyote is normally bad, but if you talk to a mute Calamity, then that's fine. I sort of agree, like, it would be somewhat comedic to have 2 characters who don't talk, like, having to try to, like, have some sort of education, but it would also take really clever writing, which, honestly, I feel like the writers of Tiny Toons would have been able to do. They had some really, really smart writers. Oh my gosh, Pika Pals getting some of the really quick spins. I love this. Like, just seeing how much the players are improving, this is very impressive. And they have to, you know, they're trying to stay in the tournament for some reason.
The exit is there. It's just theirs if they want to.
Yeah, I feel like Tiny Toons is probably one of those cartoons that, like, if I go back and watch it, some of the jokes are good. Oh, I saw pause strats by Pika Pals. You see? You see? Not gonna help right there. But at the same time, it can help you learn a little bit of the level, and jumping is, when you're going fast, probably a bad idea.
The game really wants you to do those quick flips for a lot of the sections where jumping, you're just going to be carried by the momentum and fly off the laughably small... Oh, that's my chair.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Deaths are completely fine when you're playing this, though, for the first time, because what you're trying to do is just learn a little bit more of this memorization every single attempt. You know, if you are struggling, the person you're playing against is likely struggling as well. And, like, with something like this, I would not expect the person I'm playing against to be doing well. So just remember, feel free to take it a little bit slower. Pause strat's completely fine. And honestly, do not worry if you die during one of the rounds, especially if you're getting to a new area that you haven't seen before. Your goal in that new area is just to learn a little bit more. Also, one thing to note as well is that if certain moves are extremely tricky to do, you can just not do them and, you know, mark that as this is one of the 2 points where I'm allowed to take damage. You know, that way, if there's something that, like, you keep overthinking and causing yourself to die, just go ahead and say, nope, I'm taking damage here, we're good. But yeah, this is definitely an evil level, and okay, what do I think of this? Is this acceptable game design? I'm gonna go ahead and say that this probably isn't acceptable game design, because usually you want to make a game so that, like, people are able to react to what's happening. However, the fact that you have unlimited lives makes it a little bit more acceptable. I still think that, like, it's probably too brutal for a game aimed towards kids. And honestly, like, NES difficulty, this is right towards the top. Yeah, for good game design, you want people to be able to react to what is happening on the screen. And there's just not time if you haven't played the level like 50 times already.
Yeah, like, the fact that you can get infinite lives by collecting items and getting those points to convert them into tickets is good. Like, the nice thing about the game is points are plentiful. You get those points, you can easily trade them in to get what you need to continue going.
Oh, yeah.
And as we saw with Pika Pals, if you get a game over and you continue, it gives you 10 tickets right off the bat, so you're able to kind of rebuild that score from the ground up again.
Good.
To ensure that you are surviving. Now, if this game had limited lives with no chance of, like, getting new lives, I think this would be downright despicable to the point where, like Liz did, this would be a good for, like, a gauntlet slate, not for a full-on challenge. But because it has the survivability, it makes it a good challenge game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I honestly feel like I might be willing to forgive this video game sin. It's like what we say in improv. I did a lot of improv when I was younger, and a big thing is that, like, speed limit signs when you're driving are there to keep you within the guidelines. If you go about 5 over the speed limit, you're probably going to be okay, you know, unless you get a cop on a really, really grumpy day. If you start going 10 over, though, you're risking a lot more. You go 15 or 20 over, and boy, you are pushing your luck. This is Konami definitely going at least 10 over the speed limit sign is what I would say here. You know, it's in dubious territory, but you really have to know what you're doing in order to break the rules. And I'm not sure this is completely acceptable. This is pushing the limits for what is acceptable when it comes to good, difficult design.
Pika's doing really good pause buffering for the section that both Pika and Ascorian have been struggling with.
But yeah, the big thing is know what the rules are when it comes to design, and then at that point, you are allowed to break them, but you also need to know when you can break them. If you're going 20 over the speed limit where there is a speed trap, you're gonna get caught. And unfortunately, I think there are a few speed traps right here that it's not working. Anyways, know the rules, break them if you know them really well, but also be aware that like it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. Blah. There we go. There's my whole diatribe.
I will say at this point, I feel like Pika Pals has definitely made a sliver more progress than Ascorian has. Like, Pika has made it past, like, the main castle interior that Ascorian's been struggling with.
I think Ascorian's made it there as well, though. Like, at one attempt way earlier on, and she's just been struggling to get back there again. Like,
unless someone manages to fully beat the stage, this one might be one I'm gonna have to go back and double check the VOD at points to get the official
I think we're gonna
scoring.
see this stage get beaten. We've got over 20 minutes left.
I think it's gonna be beaten too. Ascorian.
Everything in this game is horrifying and terrible, and I'm not ready for this. This is like what you put into a game to make people rent it again.
You can tell this was definitely one that was made for the blockbuster crowd. So that's like, man, we've made a questionably potentially short game. What are we going to do? Put a really, really difficult auto-scrolling flipping level in it. That will teach them.
I mean, to be fair, though, I really like this level. Like, I love watching it. I think that I played it when I was younger. And I love, like, how fast and unruly it is. It's just also very much not okay. But I prefer games to be wild and, like, unpredictable in some ways. And you just really didn't have anything like this in the NES era. For good reason. It's too brutal. It's too brutal. Other people are saying Turbo Tunnel. Turbo Tunnel warns you of obstacles coming up. This game doesn't. It's just, no, the only way you're going to learn how to get through this is death, 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 death. 50 billion deaths. 50 billion trillion deaths, and you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Turbo Tunnel, I actually think people overrate how difficult it is. I beat it as a kid. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Like, especially, like, I never rented Battletoads, like, as a kid. I jumped on the Battletoads wagon when, like, people were starting to bring up its infamy again. Infamy again. Like, oh yeah, like the Turbo Tunnels, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen in gaming. I'm like, oh cool, this should be fun. And I got through it, I think like my 4th attempt. I'm like, that was that? Like, yeah, there was some difficulty, but it wasn't nearly as bad as people were making it out to be.
I mean, it did take me a while to get through it. I gotta be honest, but at the same time, like, it follows the principle that it gives you warnings. It gives, like, there is technically enough time to react. It's just that oftentimes you start to panic because you don't know exactly, like, you know what's coming up, but it often is very intimidating and kind of terrifying, the warnings that you get. It's like, what the crap is this obstacle? And then bam, it's right there. And if you hadn't thought it through, then you are hitting it.
Finger Ringers. Isn't that the Is that the one where you're like on the giant gear trying to run away from the black hole?
I believe so, yeah. But anyway, that one, I'm trying to remember if I've ever actually beaten that level. I don't know. I think I have, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I would go ahead and say that, yeah, this suffers a little bit from just not, like, there's not reaction time, and by a little bit, I mean it suffers a lot. I suppose the one forgiving thing about this, though, is that you actually do have hit points, whereas Battletoads, it was one-hit KO during the Turbo Tunnel, so that probably makes it a little less excusable for how difficult the Turbo Tunnel is. And I will agree, it is very difficult. And like, it's doable, but I could see people getting very frustrated very, very easily with it. With that said, I think it was one of my favorite levels when I was a kid. I played Battletoads so much when I was a kid, and I loved doing the Turbo Tunnel. But I would have loved this as well. This isn't good design, but I would have loved it. Oh, yeah. Chad also makes the point Turbo Tunnel has checkpoints. This doesn't.
Yeah.
But Turbo Tunnel, Battletoads also had limited lives and limited continues. And if you were playing two-player and one of you messed up, then you both had to do the whole section again. I believe that we did get through Turbo Tunnel as a duo one time, and it was, or maybe a few times. It's very difficult to do it as a duo, but we did it as kids. Yeah, guess what? My sister, Essentia, who plays a lot of RPGs, she got pretty good at Turbo Tunnel.
I don't think I actually ever had... I've never done Battletoads 2-player.
It's fun. You punch each other.
Because like anytime I like bring it up, someone would be like, "Yeah, no, Seth, I'm not torturing myself today." I'm like, "Oh, but come on."
Oh, but it's fun. That's what video games are about. Video games are about suffering. Come on.
If you're not suffering together, are you really having fun at all?
The answer is probably yes, actually. Like, yeah. So, this music that you're listening to here for Tiny Toon's Adventure, this was made by, we had 3 people working on the sound. Hiroshi Takayasu, we had Masai Nakashima, and Sachiko Yataka, and I believe that I recognize some of these names. I mean, Hiroshi Takayasu worked on the various Beat Manias, or at least got lots of special thanks as supervisor for some of the earlier Beat Manias. Poppin' Music too. We had Monster in My Pocket. They did the sound design for that, which it has amazing music. The sound for Parodius. Yeah, composer for the original Beat Mania. There we go. Absolutely a legend, is what I would say. One of the other designers for the music here worked on Poppin' Twinbee, as well as the original Tiny Toon Adventures. And then we also had one sound person who this was their only game. A little odd to only work on one game, but that's kind of fun. Wait, somebody said I might want to look? What happened?
Pika made it through the roller coaster.
Pika Pals what? Fine,
yeah,
I
Pika
guess
Pals made it through the roller coaster. They're on the final stage.
The stream, because Pika Pals is definitely in the lead. Holy guacamole. Welcome to, as soon as I start looking away and talking about other things because we've been on the roller coaster for 20 minutes, somebody beats it. Welcome to my life. Is this the final level then?
This is the final stage.
How hard is the final stage?
Compared to the roller coaster, this is a walk in the park. This is just a pure platformer. Buster Bunny has a overhead spin kick that can be used to defeat enemies. Hika's already like kind of learned you're able to utilize it for like an almost like a double jump at times.
That's sort of... This is bad to compare to Wait and See, the Russian bootleg on NES. I think it's Russian bootleg of, like, Looney Tunes, where you play as Bugs Bunny. But, yeah, you used an attack in the air as well to get extra distance. Very important to learn the strategy here, yeah.
The only thing that sucks about the Funhouse is it's a door maze stage.
Okay, we've had 3 quote-unquote auto-scrollers, although I would say that, like, this roller coaster level, even though it's technically an auto-scroller, like, the speed varies enough that it doesn't quite feel like an auto-scroller, so I can forgive it. We've got a door maze, which is notoriously one of my least favorite things. Not as much as, what do you call them? Collectathons. I hate collectathons, but door mazes are right up there as, like, I hate them.
Like, I feel like a lot of my favorite games end up always having, like, one door maze section, and it's always the worst part of the game.
Yeah, and this level is really big. Like, from what I've seen so far, anyways. I do like these appearing and then moving blocks. This is kind of a nifty little element. I'm a little bit concerned that the block will disappear over a pit at some point.
If I remember correctly, I think one of them does.
Well, I'm concerned correctly then. I want you to know I know my video games, Seth. Oh, I love that you're able to play part of it upside down. Okay, good touch. I'm gonna give a thumbs up. Okay, 100% Procentia approved now. I no longer mind the door maze.
So yeah, I like the Funhouse is such a breath of fresh air after the bash your head against the wall that is the roller coaster stage, because at this point it's more of a, unfortunately, kind of like blindly feel your way through the maze so you kind of get a good idea of like where doors go, and as you're trying to make your way to like the final encounter of the game of like the second of like the 2 main boss fights. And
yeah, by the way, like I've been looking through some of the people who worked on this game, and like it seems like a lot of them weren't the main Konami staff. You know, they had worked on a handful of other games, but maybe this was like one of their junior dev teams, or one of the teams that didn't quite have as much experience. Like, this game is still, like, it looks good, it runs good, it plays good, it sounds great, the music is phenomenal, but it's very clearly it didn't get as much attention as some of their other games. And there we go, Escorian is through and onto the door maze as well. This is going to come down to a door maze, possibly.
Yes.
If anybody can beat this level, then that is a very clear victory. But otherwise, you better know this door maze, Seth. Uh-oh, Tempestral is saying, wait, I thought this game was good. Well, as a handy little note, this round is specifically debatably bad, where the games are debatably bad, where we can have plenty of discussions about the good and bad nature, because this game definitely has some flaws. But at the same time, there's a lot of charm.
I say, in terms of like the Tiny Toon games, like I think the Genesis one is the best one in my opinion, which is Buster's Hidden Treasure. That's also the one I've had like the most time with outside of the first NES Tiny Toons game.
Yeah, I really like the first NES Tiny Toon games. I played that a lot as a kid, I think. Or maybe it was the Super Nintendo game I played. I think it was the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, I've got no experience with the Super Nintendo one. It's mostly the 2 NES and then the Genesis one, which is probably my favorite of the bunch. Because the Genesis one feels like a knockoff Sonic the Hedgehog game. but it's got fun stage design. It's got really good music. And it's just a fun time.
Gotcha. I'm trying to remember. One of them had a football stage.
I think that was the Super Nintendo one.
And if that is the case, then that is definitely the one that I played the most. Okay, Buster Busts Loose. Yeah, I love that game. I do know that it doesn't work on Z-SNES, unfortunately. Like, you can't beat the first boss. Otherwise, it's absolutely, like, worth seeing, because it is an experience for about, like, 5 minutes. You should definitely check that out if you haven't. But yeah, the original Tiny Toons on NES, I believe, is considered a good game, but I don't think I ever played through that one.
So the way how that game was breaking up, it was more of a traditional platformer with every world had 3 stages in it, with the 3rd stage usually culminating in a boss fight of some sort.
Okay.
But the midway point, so the end of stage 2 of the world, was a stage dedicated to running away from Elmira, where you would have to run away from her for a certain amount of time before the exit door spawned, and then you'd have to get to the exit door. However, if Elmira touches you once and only once, it's an instant death. Like, nothing counts. Like, you get caught as that.
I mean, that's understandable. That's what she did. Just
There was
murdered
also
everybody.
a couple, boss fights that were pretty mean, where if you didn't do a specific design or a specific thing, you couldn't make any progress on the boss fight.
Uh-oh. I mean, okay, so sort of puzzle bosses is what you're saying. Dang, like, I'm just looking at this level, and there was potential for this to be fun, but no. Door maze. At the same time, like, it seems somewhat linear which doors you can go to. You can only go to specific doors as you're making progress here. You know, if you fall down, you're probably gonna go back to previous areas here, and Escorian not managing to ride that specific block, I think that you have to do that in order to get through that area.
Yes.
Yep, Escorian panicking. I know that you think, like, Escorian's very panicked, I think probably because of how the coaster went, and it sort of is understandable because that coaster it took forever. And Escorian has to feel like she is not winning, which she isn't. She's just a tiny bit behind. Not enough that she can't come back, but she's got to play well. And there we go, getting across the moving block. Okay, I don't understand what momentum is in this game. It seems odd.
Yeah, the momentum... The physics changes per level. Like, it's not a consistent physics engine. Like, each stage has its own unique physics gimmick to it that you kind of have to learn your way through as you're transversing throughout the stage.
Okay, there's Elmira for Pika Pals, and Pika Pals got smooched. Run to the right. Can you get through this? Oh my gosh, the jump kick in order to get up above and escape Elmira into an area that has quite a few slopes, but Escorian is starting to catch up as well. Pika Pals only has 1 heart left, and that is a death. Unfortunately, got Munch a Crunch there. Back to the beginning of the level.
Pika Pals has a really good hands-on feel with the level. Like, they've solved the door maze. They know which doors they need to take. So I think Pika Pals can recover.
Oh, for sure,
At this point,
yeah.
Escorian needs to solve the riddle of the door maze, needs to get through the moving, rotating platform and past Elmira. So Escorian's not out of this yet, but I feel like getting a game over or just losing all of their hit points might seal the deal for Pika Pals.
Yeah, we just have to see how Escorian does. Like, there's 3.5 minutes. I feel like there's still a very real chance of a comeback, though. Okay. which door do you go in from here? To the right? That may be correct. I don't know. I would be probably writing down a couple notes. It's either that door or falling down to the right there. Oh my gosh, I don't know which door. Which door? Solve my maze, Superman. Superman, I made a maze for you. My name is Lexi Luthor, and I've got a maze for you. Please do it. Come on, it's a fun one, I promise. Okay, Pika Pals. Going through, I believe this is the beginning of the stage again. My gosh. I can just feel Escorian kind of panicking here. Yeah, going right and then into this door, I think, is the correct solution here. Oh my gosh. I do love some of the movement that you can do in this stage. It's a pity that, like, the stage didn't have this movement all the way through. But I also love that, like, this is... right after you went through this room upside down, you go through it right side up, and it's different obstacles. I love using obstacles for the same thing. Can't you just duck and crawl under that?
So you have to slide under it, which is moving and then ducking at the same time. So Escorian needs to figure out how to do the slide mechanic.
There we go. Okay. I was concerned about that, but Escorian learning it with only a minute and a half left. There's technically enough time, but we still haven't gotten to, like, the hardest part. You gotta fall down the pit here. Okay, gotta fall down. No, right there.
Yep,
that's the
this pit right here.
Thank you, Arrow, for finally showing up. And there's the door. No, to the right. Where? No, that door was taunting you at the very beginning of the stage and was like, hey, come in here. Come in here. There's a door. There's a door. I hope that the enemy doesn't respawn. There we go. That seals the deal. Yeah, Pika Pals is the victor. Let's just go ahead and let the rest of this play out. A little bit of a heartbreaker right there. I saw that respawn coming. Oh, my gosh. What a game. What an absolute ride this has been. And quite literally a ride in some ways. Oh. But yeah, I just want to listen to this music a little bit and chill.
I'm actually really impressed with Escorian getting past that first part with just blind jump.
It's so good. Like, Escorian is amazing at games. This was really a incredible matchup between the two players. But that, everybody, is time. My goodness. What an incredible adventure. Escorian was in the lead for quite a while, up until the roller coaster, where Pika Pals managed to beat that first and then just held onto the lead for the rest of the match. Pika Pals taking the victory, and Escorian coming very close, but not quite able to turn back into a lead. So let me go ahead and welcome them if they want to come and chat. It looks like Escorian's here. Hello there, Escorian. I'm going to welcome Pika Pals as well. Never mind, Pika Pals is already joining us. Hello there, Escorian and Pika Pals. Welcome.
Hello. Hey. GG's.
Oh my gosh. That got so intense, especially at the end, because Escorian was rushing and just making progress. But unfortunately, going into one of the upside down rooms, died to a cat that respawned, and that allowed Pika Pals to maintain the lead and take the victory. I was really thinking Escorian was going to make a comeback and just suddenly steal it right at the end, and that almost happened. It almost happened, Escorian.
Yeah, I wish it did.
Yeah.
I got so frustrated at that roller coaster level.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a bit rough.
Can we talk about that? Because I've got some things to say, but I also want to hear your opinions. Like, roller coaster. That was obviously the major tough spot of this game. Is that enough to turn this into a bad game?
Yes.
Okay, a definitive yes by Escorian. Pika Pals?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a good game necessarily, but I think it's okay.
Okay. I wouldn't call it a good game necessarily, but it's kind of okay. I think that the game, like, this is probably something that I would have played as a kid. I don't recall if I did, but that I probably would have had fun with, even though I would have complained so much about that roller coaster stage because it is absolute BS.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Even trying to pause buffer through the roller coaster, it's going too fast to react at that point.
Yeah. And we saw you doing that. I was like, I think that this is probably still a good thing for Pika Pals to be doing, because even if you don't like make progress on that attempt, at the very least pausing, you get to look at the layout of the level and sort of see, okay, next time I come here, this is what I need to do in order to get through. Escorian, I love that we still see a little progress from you. Like, Pika Pals made it to the room after this, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it, like, seriously, it was an incredibly tight match between the two of you. Escorian, you were like in the lead up until the roller coaster level. I thought you were still going to have it. Seth was like, if nobody beats the roller coaster, then I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I'm like, somebody's gonna beat it, right?
Made it to that last jump like 3 different times until finally making it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned I died right before the final jump like 4 times. I was so mad.
That last passage is just way too tight.
It's brutal. Oh, Escorian, one way that Pika Pals learned to get through this, yeah, you're sort of learning that as well. You can sort of just jump up on these platforms and sort of do a spin kick in order to get higher elevation. Yeah. And then it was in this room. Those teeth, if you would have gotten past the teeth right there, that would have been the victory for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, I love that it was
They were
this
just too
close,
fast.
though. It was so close between you two. Yeah. With that said, was there anything that you liked about the game?
The bumper car stage was kind of fun.
I love it. It's just, it's chaos, but it's also kind of playable chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that one as well.
I still think one of my favorite
Yeah.
stages in the game is the log flume ride, just with how varying the stage gets between the hopping between logs and then the final like elevator section
Okay.
going between the spikes.
I would have
The
had
actual
it if we
difficult part
had
of the
one
stage.
more minute.
Oh my gosh, one more minute. Yeah, you're at the final boss right now.
Nice.
Seriously, that's just how things go though with Kusog7ande, and I know that, like, Escorian, it's been a joy to have you this year. You always like excel at games. You always do super fantastic. It's not your year this year, but seriously, you
No.
just kick ass.
I think next year I'm gonna apply to be a GM.
Ooh, come join us. I would love to have you.
Yes.
Yeah. Take a year off, be a GM, make people cry.
That's exactly what I plan on doing.
That's my advertisement for you there. Yeah. Oh, with that,
GG's again, Pika Pals.
GG's.
Thank you for the game, Seth.
yeah, let me remind you, Escorian, feel free to hit me up. I believe with round 3, we do have $20 of Steam games. If you'd like, I can go ahead and send you a gift card over Steam whenever you're ready. We do typically give out a movie, but the movie that we're giving out this year isn't released yet, so if Neil Breen doesn't get on it, then I'm gonna have to offer a different movie. Whatever. But yeah, I'd be happy to do that. With that said, do you have any final words for your tombstone?
Just like this game, Kusog7ande's been a roller coaster ride.
Oh, I like it. I like the relevant text there. Okay, well, we'll make sure that it is nice and embossed. Okay, we can maybe even make it italics. Ooh. Yeah, we're getting fancy over here in Kusog7ande land. Well, do either of you have anything going on that people should know about? Any exciting streams coming up? Or if not, that's completely fine. Ascorian, anything exciting in your streaming life?
I'm actually getting back to streaming.
Yeah.
Every day after work, I'll be streaming.
What
So
time
around
is that?
4:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. What types of games do you think you're going to be focusing on to begin with?
Dead by Daylight and Yakuza.
Oh, those are good ones. I like them. Oh, especially Yakuza. I really enjoy those games. What about you, Pika Pals?
No, not really. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
really doing any streaming stuff right now.
That's fine. Yeah, I love that we have a variety of people who stream a lot and people who don't stream much at all, because it's just really fun to have a variety, in my opinion. So thank you both, and Seth, thank you as well. I think we're going to go ahead and raid somebody. As a reminder, though, we do have 2 matches starting at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Please come by and say hi. I was also really confused, and I thought that GDQ started today, but it's next week. So, I don't know. I finally have my correct Adderall prescription again, and I think that's going to help for about a month. Oh, thank you so much, ADHD meds. I see Gilder Sneeze streaming again. He's doing more birthday month stuff, so I think let's go ahead and raid over there unless anybody has somebody else. Do we have a good raid message, people? Was there any good text today? Bumper cars? That's not great text. That's not like...
There wasn't really any text in
Boop. Your snoot has been booped. Boop 5 more snoots, or you'll become a ghost. There we go. There we go. We have to tell Gilder your snoot has been booped. Boop 5 more snoots, or you'll become a ghost. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and spread the birthday cheer. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care, friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Pika Pals. Bye, Seth.